Hello everyone, and welcome to PTS livestream. My name is Daria, I'm community developer for Division 2, and today with me, our usual guest, Yannick,
Hello.
creative director on Division 2. And as you can see by the background and the way we're sitting, we're actually in a very tight space here. And there is a green screen behind us, and poor George is holding it, so it's not going to be a long stream probably because, I mean, we can't count on George to hold it for more than 1 hour, obviously.
It's a very small green screen.
Yeah, so that's why we're so cramped here. But why are we here today? That's the main question. And the answer is very simple, because tomorrow we start PTS for TU22 for year 6 season 2, and yay! And today we want to show you a few new features that are going to be on the PTS and also later available with the seasonal release, and basically walk you through some of them. We'll be having a live Q&A in the end of the live stream, so if you have any questions, our community managers will be happy to collect them for me and Yannick to answer later. And of course, if you have any questions that are going to pop up during the live stream, if you're curious about some certain features that we're going to show today, you're also welcome to leave all your questions. And one important thing, like the reason why we have the green screen and we're not sitting in our usual podcast room is because we actually going to be showing you the gameplay build. And that's the reason why Yannick is here. Oh, there are two of them.
This actually feels like old days to be like sitting in front of a PC and doing live gameplay. That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
exciting.
Now there are two of them. They're the same picture. So, okay, we'll start with Seasonal Journey, one of the new features.
Yeah. So let's be into it. So this is actually the PTS build. So that's the one that's going to be made available to all players. So yeah, we thought it's just going to be easier to just show you instead of just sitting in a nice room and just looking at cards and talking about stuff. Let's just show it how it is in game. So this is your first exclusive early preview of the PTS build. You'll notice a first difference here. We've actually changed a bit the camera angle on the character selection screen because we thought it just looks a bit better. But yeah, let's get into the game. Fingers crossed that live gameplay is going to work, because it's always a risk.
I mean, that's
it was working earlier.
PTS build for you, right? So anything goes.
Yeah. And as usual, of course, this is PTS, so everything you see here is subject to change. Some elements are still work in progress. So if this is different when the update actually goes live, don't be surprised. As you know, PTS is always still a bit of a work in progress build. So what should we start with? So,
Seasonal Journey, new progression system.
Yes. So as you know, with this update, we're changing seasons. And the idea is to kind of try to change a bit the mix and to create a bit of a different experience with the season, and try to have the ingredients so that with every season we can offer something that is a bit different and a bit fresh, as opposed to today where every season, eventually becomes a bit repetitive. So we have a few systems, a few new things we want to show you here in terms of what that means. And the first one is, yes, the seasonal journey. So what you will notice is when you go into the season screen now, this is actually quite different now. There's 4 tabs you will see up there. We have the season pass, the journey, priority objectives, and the events timeline. On the PTS, you will just have access to journey and priority objectives. The other 2 are blocked. But so the journey in itself, what this is this is a new way to progress into into the season. So instead of progressing your season and your season pass by just gaining XP by doing whatever and trying to find the most optimized way to gain XP, you will now have a journey that is a series of missions, each one of them made of a bunch of objectives. So the idea here is to help and guide you a bit more through the season progression by giving you increasingly harder and more time-consuming objectives. And this is your main way at the beginning of the season, at least, to gain season progression. So you will see that on each of those journeys or each of those missions, we give you some rewards. So that can be materials, that can be XP, that can be a bunch of things. Of course, the season pass XP here, and you also get. So this is the reward here. I hope people actually see my pointer. Yes, this is the reward here for completing that whole mission. This is here, what you see here is just the details and the rewards for each one of those objectives. So each objective you complete gives you a reward, and then when you complete the whole mission, you will get a bigger pack of rewards. And as you complete the mission, then you unlock the next one, and so on and so forth. These are not timed or time-gated, so you can do all of them at once when the season starts, depending on which pace you wanna have in your progression. And one thing that's important to note is that you actually have 8 objectives here, but you only need to complete 6 to complete that mission and unlock the next one. So the idea is to give you a bit of choice. If there is one objective you really don't want to do, you can skip that one because you have enough options to actually still complete that mission and move on to the next one. So as I said, you gain reward for doing those missions. And so there are 7 missions in this season. And starting from the 4th mission, you're going to see something here, which is the Isaac mod unlock. And as you know, and we'll show that a bit after, one of the big changes with this new season formula is that we are going to have seasonal modifiers now that are going to be altering the way you play and give you new build opportunities. So the seasonal journey is going to be one way for you to unlock some of those modifiers. The ones that we call active modifiers are going to be unlocked through that journey. So you unlock one here, one on the next mission, and another one on the mission number 6. And then you have a final mission for extra rewards. So this is where you're going to be unlocking the active modifiers. And that's going to be, as I said, the main way of gaining season progression in the initial moments, in a way. Once you have maxed out that season journey, you can actually move on to the next system, which is this one, priority objectives. Priority objectives are unlocked directly, just to be clear, so you can do that alongside your seasonal journey. But those keep going even after you've completed your seasonal journey. And the idea with the priority objectives is that this is a pool of, you see, 3 assignments. And you get a limited amount of information when you get to pick one. So you have to see, depending on how much time you want to invest into it, what kind of rewards are you after, and where do these take place. So you see this one is, that it's going to be a stronghold in Washington, D.C. You don't know which stronghold, but that it's going to take some time, but you're going to get some XP. Of course, the XP is going to scale depending on how long the activity actually takes. This one is a mission in Washington, D.C. as well. Or open world activities. So there's a bunch of different things. All of that is going to be picked at random every time you do one. So you never really know what you're going to get. But yeah, this is a great way for you to unlock rewards. These also provide season progression and season pass XP. So that's another way for you to gain that progression and a way to continue gaining progression once you've maxed out your season journey.
One thing I want to mention, that we only have Washington, D.C. here, but it would be possible to get objectives that are set in New York. And even once we get the new DLC, it's also going to become a part of the selection.
Yes. Yeah, so you can get objectives in different maps. Of course, you always have alternatives. So you can get an objective in New York even if you don't own the Worlds of New York DLC, but that's okay because you will always have the other 2 that are going to be in Washington D.C. So the aim is that you will always have options available. But if you own the expansion Worlds of New York and later on with Brooklyn, you will be able to use those as alternatives. So the idea is to make you explore and use the whole content that is available to you. One thing that you will notice on this, which is actually random, so good, it was not intended, but it is. You'll see on this one, the middle one, the reward here is a modifier. So as I said, the active modifiers you will unlock by doing the season journey. But then we have something that we call the passive modifiers. And again, I will explain what that is. Those you unlock through priority objectives. So you will need to do both to unlock all of the modifiers that are available to you. So when you see one of those here that is highlighted, you know that if I complete these priority objectives, I will be rewarded with a modifier. So you can go ahead and pick it up, basically. And once you've picked it up, we reveal what the objective is. And now you know what reward you're actually going to get. You know which modifier you're going to get. There's no duplicate. So, of course, if you already have a modifier, we're not going to give you the same modifier again. So there's a predictable amount of priority objectives you need to do until you unlocked all of them. So then you can just basically go ahead and complete that mission, and you will get, on top of all the normal rewards of that mission, you will also get that modifier. You can, of course, combine. So if that mission would actually also be, a target in a priority objective, you can optimize and potentially, or a target in a seasonal journey, you can actually optimize and combine assignments together to progress even faster.
And once the priority objective is selected, you cannot actually re-roll it or go back and choose another one. So you will have to complete this one to be given a chance to select a new one afterwards.
Yeah. So you need to think about your decision. The good thing is when the three you have before you make a decision, if you don't like any of the three, you have the opportunity to re-roll, and this is shown here underneath. So you can have up to 3 rerolls, and you gain rerolls by completing priority objectives. So you need to complete a few of them, and then you gain opportunities to do a reroll if you don't like any of the options. So there is a chance for you to change in case all 3 of them are not interesting to you.
Yeah, and rerolls would also give an opportunity to choose a different reward. And since you already mentioned that modifiers are quite rare compared to other rewards that you can get, there is actually not a big chance that you might end up with a modifier. But then again, you will be able to choose between XP, seasonal XP, credits, crafting materials. There are actually 9 types of them, and exotics.
Yep. So then, modifiers. Should we look at that?
Yes.
Because that's actually one big part. So we wanted to talk about progression, but one big key aspect of those...
Or if we can get back to the journey super quickly, the one thing I wanted to mention is that you already showed, and you can see it on the screen, that there are 7 journey missions, and they going to be unlocked depending on your level within the game. So of course the first one will be available to everyone starting from level 1, the second one from level 10, the third one from level 30, and then starting from the fourth one and onward, it's only going to be available for players with level 40. And same for the modifiers. They only available for level 40 players. I'm having an eye on chat in the same time, so is it okay if I just pick some questions when I see them? Absolutely.
I see Hanaku, is that how you said the name? I don't know. Asking, the journey seems really short. It doesn't seem to last the entire season. If it lasts 3-4 months, and it seems that player can one-shot rush through them all under 1 week. If that's the case, do you get new journeys or extended stuff, or that is all? No, so the idea is the journey is, it's still going to take some time to complete, but this is supposed to be the initial steps. So you're going to be, because that's how you unlock the modifiers, and we want you to get the active modifiers, not all the way towards the end of the season. We want you to be able to control how fast you get them. So you're going to, if you are a very active player and one that progresses fast, you should be able to complete the journey fairly fast. We will see how long, and that's all going to be subject to balancing and PTS feedback, so please do tell us. And once you've completed that, then that's usually where the priority objectives become even more relevant. As I said, you can do priority objectives alongside your journey, but even when you completed your journey, the priority objectives and all the other activities in the game remain available. So then you can always use that to keep progressing if you haven't maxed out your season pass at this point and unlocked all the rewards. But yes, it is intended that the season journey does not take the whole 3 or 4 months of a season to complete.
And there was also another question regarding seasonal characters in Seasons 2.0. An initial question like, what about Seasons 2.0? Actually, the features that we're showing today almost all of them were initial part of Seasons 2.0. So except for seasonal characters that, we decided to remove them because of the feedback that we received on the announcement. Everything else that you're going to see here is what Seasons 2.0 were supposed to be. It's just we are not necessarily calling it that way anymore, but it's still pretty much what was in the initial package.
Yeah. I mean, the original proposition was still meant to work at level 40. So there are some adjustments following the change of removing seasonal characters, but overall, this is still close to the vision we had in mind. And you can experience it from level 1. It's just now it's your choice if you want to. Okay, cool. So modifiers, and I see some questions in chat in terms of modifiers. So modifiers, you're actually going to find them in your inventory. And you will see that we put that here. So you see now you actually have access to your Isaac brick, and that's going to be where the modifiers sit now moving forward. So when you go in there, you're going to see a whole new screen, which is the season modifier. And so the season modifier is made of 4 things. One, there is the global modifier. And that global modifier is the one you see here. And that global modifier applies throughout the entire content. So when the season is active, the global modifier applies. You can deactivate it if you want. If you really don't like it, or for specific cases, if you want to deactivate it, you can. But as soon as it's activated, this one applies all the time. And this is a straight out bonus for you as a player. So this season, the global modifier is called Point Blank. And this is one that is working with range. So what we're doing is we're dividing range into 3 zones: blue zone, yellow zone, and red zone. And the further away the enemies are, so the longest or the further zone they are, the higher the damage bonus. So you'll see in short range, in blue zone, you will have 1.2 times, that's an interesting wording, 1.2 times damage. Medium range, so 20%, 35%, 50% damage bonus, depending on which zone there is. So it's a pretty simple, straightforward bonus, but then of course it becomes more intricate because we have more modifiers. As I said, so this is the one that applies all the time. Then we have the second type of modifier, which is the active modifier, and this is where we start giving you choice. So these active modifiers are the ones you're going to unlock through the season journey. And these ones are basically an ultimate ability that you can select, so you have to pick one of those 3. And when you trigger that ultimate ability, it will change the way the global modifier behaves. So for example, I'm trying to think which one. This one is the most obvious one, called Reversal. When you trigger this one, you swap the bonus ranges. So suddenly, the closer the enemies are, the more damage you do to them. So then it's up to you to actually create builds around that and to see how to make the best use out of that. So you have 3 of them that behave in different ways. So you can also swap them depending on the situation or what type of content you're going to be doing. The idea is that as you progress through the season and when you've done the whole seasonal journey and enough priority objectives, you will have unlocked all the modifiers. So you get access to the entire kind of toolbox with all the options available. So then you can mix and match them depending with your build, depending on the situations and what you want to do with it. And just to be clear, this whole package of seasonal modifier, this will change with every season. So what you see here, this is what will apply in the next season, in season 2. The season after that, this is going to be a whole different proposition. So this is how we're going to try to bring, fresh experiences with every season, with different types of bonuses and even sometimes maybe things that are not just stat-based, but different type of modifiers and different type of experiences. The third type of modifier is the passive modifier. So that's down there. And those are basically modifiers that change what happens in a range when you have them equipped. Those are not on trigger. They're usually always active. Some of them have trigger conditions, but it's not a button I'm going to press. It's just a bit like a talent. If I do a headshot, this thing happens or whatever. And they're divided in short range, medium range, long range, and some of them are multi-zone. So short range means those modifiers only apply to enemies that are in short range. Those only apply to enemies in medium range and long range. And multi-zones are the ones that apply on all range or that have multi-zone conditions. So I'm not going to go through all of them because it's it's quite intricate, and you know how we are. Sometimes some of those descriptions can be a bit long, so it's going to be up to you to actually figure it out. But once again, you can pick 3 of them, up to 3 of them. So then it's about you combining things with the global modifier, the active modifier you want to use, then the passive modifiers, and the active modifier, when you trigger it, might, you know, interact with the passive as well. For example, we have one active modifier. That is this one, the active modifier prime time. When you trigger it, all the passive modifiers that are called minor modifier here, but they're going to be called passive modifier eventually, become effective in the medium range. So what that means is that even if you pick some short range or long range ones here, when you trigger your active modifier, they will apply in the medium range. So once again, it's really up to you to theory craft all of this and try to figure out what works best for your play style. And then the final type of modifier, that's the one that allows the world to react to you, because all we are doing here is giving you power. We are just making you stronger with all of those modifiers, because pretty much some of them have a bit of a risk reward or a bit of a price to pay. For example, there's one, I don't remember which one it is. Trying to find. Yeah, this one, for example, headshot damage is increased by 150%, but body shots did greatly reduce damage at long range. So this one, for example, you see there is a penalty for using it, but therefore a reward as well. But otherwise, usually they're all pretty much bonuses. So the way we actually make sure that the game still remains challenging and interesting is that we have the final type, which is the one here, which is called the hostile modifiers. And those you do not choose. Those are unlocked from the beginning, and they will unlock as you progress through the season. But these are modifiers that are going to be applied to the NPCs. So these are new abilities that the NPCs will unlock as you progress through the season, and they will basically present a new challenge. So they are also based on range, but this gives NPCs extra abilities or extra bonuses depending on their archetype and on the range that they're in. So this is our way of adding extra challenges that are based on the way the modifier functions to not just make it easier for you, but actually present new types of challenges. And so when you're going to be, replaying missions that you've played a million times, saying the same fire teams spawning as usual, those modifiers are going to be a way to rethink the way you're going to be picking up that fight, because the way you used to beat them might not work anymore based on those modifiers.
Would you say that it's akin to enemies having talents equipped?
Yeah, kind of, yeah. Because each modifier is a bit like a talent, so yeah, it is a bit like that. And for some reason, the description does not show here. It's not that we want to hide it. I'm not sure why it doesn't show, but
it's the PTS build.
It's the PTS build. But hopefully tomorrow you will be able to see them. Otherwise, I'm sure we will have a description available.
Yeah, and also you will be able to see in the open world the enemies that have the active modifier applied to them, because they're going to have an icon on top of the enemy, and not all the enemies that you're going to meet in the open world will have modifiers. Some of them, yes, not all of them.
One thing, because I see that being discussed in chat, no, the modifiers will not apply in PvP, just to be clear. Because obviously, if this would break things to a degree that is not what we want to do.
Not in PvP and not in Descent.
And not in Descent, yes. I also saw someone here, just to confirm, asking. I didn't catch your name. Sorry, asking if to confirm that this is available on your main character. Yes, they are. As we've said, there are no seasonal characters anymore. So the day this becomes available, you log in with your main character. All of this is available to your main character. You don't have to level a new one.
And also another thing that I would mention, that some of the modifiers, they are mutually exclusive with global events. So you will have to choose if you want to play with the global event settings or if you want to play with the modifiers. You cannot have both at the same time.
Yes. Yeah, because combining them would break the game in ways that we are not comfortable with. So for now, when a global event will be active, you will need to choose if you want to play with the global event or play with your seasonal modifier. What was the next thing?
We need to talk about scouts as well.
Oh, yeah, manhunts. Okay. So the last element in here that we want to talk about, it's the manhunts. And we have also changed and streamlined a bit the way the manhunts worked. So you're still going to go in the same place, but the manhunt screen has changed. So where we used to have 4 targets unlocking a prime target, and each target was unlocked every month with a set of activities. Now we've changed that to an actual weekly cadence. So instead of 4 targets and 1 prime target, we no longer have 4 targets. Now you're going to have what we call scouts. And scouts is a series of assignments that you're going to have to do. We have 14 of them, so that's basically going to take you throughout a big part of the season. So each scout is going to unlock every week. So those will unlock on a weekly cadence. If you haven't done the one from last week, don't worry. If you log in, you will be able to do it as well. You will actually have to do it before you unlock the one of this week. But you can catch up all the way to the end of the season. And those scouts are, as I said, weekly activities. They have a series of assignments, but are assignments that you actually need to decipher. So we are not going to tell you directly, go do that thing. We're going to give you, at least in this season, we're going to give you a small riddle, and you need to solve that riddle to understand what needs to be done. So for example, here in this scout, we tell you that you have to go to Foggy Bottom, which is the name zone Foggy Bottom, and then something about taxis. So you need to figure out what activity is there in Foggy Bottom that is related to taxis. Once you do that, you unlock that activity, you get the next one, or you completed that activity, you get the next one, and then the next one. And once you've completed those 3 activities, you unlock the rewards of that scout. And of course, one of the main rewards of that scout is going to be some XP and small things, but the main reward of that scout is going to be the voiceover collectible of the week. And then you unlock the ability to do the next scout if it is already unlocked by the season schedule. As we said, they unlock every week.
Yeah, and scouts are all available on level 40, and you can play together with your friends if you want to complete the scouts, but it's important to mention that only the group leader will get the main rewards for the scout.
Yeah. And then, of course, as you do all 14 scouts, then at the end of the season, we're going to unlock the climax mission, as usual. So we're going to take over a space and turn it into a climax. But then the change this with the new seasons is that, and this is not going to be in PTS, by the way. And scouts, we're going to have a few, I think, in the PTS.
Yes.
So we're going to have the first few scouts of next season. That's the first time we do that in PTS. So a few story spoilers, but hopefully nothing too drastic. We're not going to let you play all the scouts of the season in PTS. So you're not going to get the whole story spoiled. But the beginning of the story, yes. So if you don't want any spoilers before the season starts, either do not go on a PTS or go on a PTS, but don't play the scouts, because the story will be at least partially available, not even in necessarily a comprehensive way, because you see here we still have Aaron Kinner as a target, which is not our season 2 target. So what we have on the in PTS is a bit of mix and match of different things. But as I said, once you've completed the scouts, you unlock the climax mission. Important to note, yes, you will need to do all 14 scouts to unlock the climax mission. So if you show up late when the climax mission unlocks, you will have to catch up and unlock the scouts the same way that it was today with the targets. And then you can unlock the master climax. And the idea with the master climax is that this is a new difficulty that is going to be available only on the climax mission. And this difficulty is here to challenge you and to show or to kind of test if you have mastered the season and mastered the modifiers. So it's going to be tougher NPCs in general, and also tougher mechanics, and challenges based or hopefully utilizing the modifier as well. So it's really going to be about using everything that we've given you this season to be able to beat it. When we talk about difficulty, I don't necessarily want to compare it to any other type of content, because we will still need to balance that properly. But it is harder than heroic, for sure. This is really meant to be a real tough challenge for everyone.
But you mentioned that it's not going to be a part of the PTS.
That's not going to be on PTS,
Yes.
no.
And do you want to show the gameplay? Because otherwise it's pretty much it.
Yeah,
We can,
probably for the modifier anyway.
answer a few questions as well.
I was thinking maybe I can try to do the... I can try to do that priority objective that I unlocked here, because then we can unlock a modifier maybe. So that one was the Lincoln Memorial main mission, which I'm going to track on screen. And I'm going to have to find that one. I know it's going to be embarrassing because, yeah, okay, I got it. I was like, where's Lincoln Memorial? I'm going to embarrass myself in front of everyone not finding it on the map. Because after all, I'm only shade level 512, which is noob level for a lot of people in this chat. I'm going to play in challenging, pardon me, but I don't want to. So you will see, and this is the modifiers in action, or the global modifier in action. You will see when I aim at an NPC next to my crosshair, you will now see the 3 ranges. So you see this character, or this NPC is in the blue range right now. So I'm gonna get the blue range bonus, damage bonus. You see the NPCs there have hostile modifiers. This is the icon that shows there. So this is to tell me what kind of extra abilities do they have. And yeah, and so you can see directly from your crosshair. You can see what range they are in. And who's behind me? You see this one has the hostile modifier, I forgot the name, but it's basically making them, they get reduced damage if you're shooting them from the wrong range. So you need to get to the right range, and then you will be able to deal increased damage to them. The implementation of the hostile modifiers icons is not final, so so bear with us on that. Hopefully it's still good enough for you to be able to give us some feedback.
Well, I will just answer a few questions in the chat. So, are global modifiers replacing global events, or are they still going to have them? As I mentioned, we're still going to have both, but you will need to choose which one you want to play with. So it's either going to be a modifier or a global event. How new modifiers going to affect XP gains with the system?
They don't.
It's just basically an extra.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like directives or something where the modifiers will influence the XP or the rewards or anything. They're just, I mean, the hostile modifiers are just basically applied to the content, and this is a compensation for the extra power we're giving you with the global modifier.
How many modifiers we gonna have per season? So season modifiers are gonna be unique to season. You're gonna have the one main one, and also 3 active modifiers. I'm not entirely sure if the enemy modifiers, so passive modifiers, are gonna be seasonal. Exclusive.
They will change every season. So in this season you have 12 passive modifiers and 4 enemy modifiers. And 3 active modifiers. This value will likely change from season to season, depending on how the modifiers behave.
Are the modifiers active in open world missions only, or also in game modes like Descent? So they will be active pretty much everywhere except for PvP and Descent. Do you remember any other?
Sorry, you're gonna have to repeat that.
The modifiers, where they're supposed to be active. Everywhere apart from PvP and
Everywhere
Descent.
except PvP and Descent, yeah.
An open world includes Washington, New York, So
Yep.
all other maps. Can we turn off modifiers?
Yes.
Yes.
If you really don't like them, or if for some reason they're actually not to your advantage, you can turn them off.
Do we need to complete an all objective to complete the journey, or can we skip a few if we don't like them? So basically, every journey that contains 8 objectives, you can complete only 6 of them and still collect the big reward for the mission journey. And there are 2 extra ones. I mean, if you want to complete them, you can definitely do that to get the rewards that are specific to the smaller objective.
Oh.
But otherwise, you are given a choice,
Nope.
which 6 of 8 you want to be completing at the moment.
That's not gonna work from here. Yeah, I made it.
I feel like this SpongeBob meme that looks at 2 different books at the same time, because I kind of want to follow the gameplay, but at the same time
Yeah,
look
I'm
at the chat
listening
and
to you
answer
at the
the
same time. I'm
questions.
like, oh my god, what am I doing?
Immediate medical assistance needed.
Do we need to? Yes, this is the one that I already answered. So the thing is, you cannot really skip them in the on the grand scale of things. You still need to complete each journey to be able to move to the next one. And this is the same thing with the scouts. Like, they need to be unlocked one by one, and you cannot move to the next scout or to the next mission journey unless the one that you're on is completed. And another thing is that even if you start playing mid-season, like not from the get-go, you still will be able to go through all the previous scouts that were available with the upon the release.
I see somebody picking up on the 60 round Sentinel, and yes, that's a good point, and that's a big. One big thing with this season, we've basically rebalanced every single item in the game. So we are not gonna go through that here. This will be in the patch notes, because basically almost every item in the game has been rebalanced. Some of them, of course, buffed, a few nerfs here and there for the outliers. So this is what you will see here with the Sentinel. That's one of the ones that's been impacted with a reduction of max size to 60.
And to echo that, all the rebalance values are going to be in the patch notes for weapons, for gear, for talents, with the comparison to the current values that we have in the game right now. So feel free to do the comparison, let us know what you think about it, and patch notes going to be dropping tonight after the live stream. Think maybe within an hour or 2 once we're done with streaming, and preload should be available tonight as well.
And as usual, because I already see people asking for no nerfs, this is a PTS. The patch notes are a proposition, so before screaming about the unfairness of nerfs, please read the patch notes. Please, if you can, test it in a PTS and then give us feedback. Everything can always change, but we need the feedback for that. So we need your help to try things out. And if you think that some of the changes are too drastic or are really ruining items, just let us know and we'll look at it.
Because another thing is that that's the first PTS phase. There is going to be another one. So I'm not entirely sure if we would be able to change them drastically in between the 2 phases, but still getting that feedback is crucial for how it's going to be upon release.
Yeah, but balancing is always okay. You can always do balancing changes.
Just gonna look for other questions. Will the climax mission be available during PTS? No.
Nope.
Mostly because you won't have enough time to complete all the scouts, and it's one of the things that will give too many spoilers.
Yeah, we don't wanna spoil the whole thing.
How seasonal story missions will tie to the main story?
What do you mean? The scouts?
I mean, that's the question.
Yeah,
But I
mean,
guess it should not be very different from our regular manhunts, in the same way that the story has been released through manhunts, since we'll just continue doing the exact same thing.
Yeah, and it is a continuation of the story that we've told in season 1, and it's gonna be the same story and delivered in similar ways. It's just that instead of having monthly targets and then you get like 4 or 5 collectibles in that target, you will get 1 collectible every week by doing the scouts. So it's just a pacing change more than an actual drastic change in terms of story.
Is there no longer a seasonal track? No, seasonal track remains. And I think I saw another question about paid and free tracks. That going to remain.
It's actually there's a bit of a change here, just to be fully transparent. Is that now there is 1 track, and some items on this track are free, and some of them require the premium pass or the season pass. But we've redistributed all the rewards, so even if when you look at because I know people will compare the free track compared to previous seasons, so there's going to be less free items when you look at that track, but therefore we have new systems in the season that give you rewards as well. So just think of it holistically, okay? When you're looking at comparing rewards, think of all the season journey, the priority objectives, the scouts, all those new systems that are here that are giving you rewards on top of the season track.
Will modifiers be active in raids and incursion? From what I know, yes.
As far as I remember, yes, they should.
Yeah. There was a talk the seasonal characters was going to have a 5th character. I was still going to get the 5th character.
No, we are not. We are not doing that. That being said, we are looking at what we can do with that extra save space that we had for this. So maybe in the future there might be changes in that direction, but not now.
I also saw a question, I cannot really read it right now because the chat is going so fast. But basically... Sorry, kind of lost it completely. So, people asking if it's gonna be possible to purchase the old seasons.
This was the hostile modifier killing me. Just a side note here. This hostile modifier, I forgot the name, is one that reflects the damage I'm dealing to the NPC if I'm shooting them from the wrong range. And of course, time for me to compute. I realized too late and I killed myself. Sorry, I interrupted you.
Yeah, that's fine. That's totally fine. I'm just thinking whether or not it's okay for us to hint at the throwback event that is coming. Because people are interested if it's possible to replay.
You're doing it right now, so I think
yeah,
there's no going back.
I already started doing that because like. Who's gonna tell me that it's not possible again?
Who's gonna stop you?
He is my boss anyway, so... yeah, so it's not gonna be possible to purchase older seasons, but there is gonna be a chance to play through all of them in the chronological order that they were released very soon in the event that we are calling a throwback event. Basically, first of all, giving new players or veteran players an opportunity to relive the manhunt experience again, or understand the story or get to know the story. And the idea behind it, I'm once again like trying to concentrate on at least one thing.
Is it bothering you that I'm talking?
No, it's fine. It's fine. It's just I'm so invested. So basically what I'm trying to say, the throwback event, a chance to replay all the previous manhunts in a chronological order. You will only have
You're doing great, Daria, by the way.
two days to play each
going.
manhunt, and they're also going to be tied to global events, allowing you to earn stars that you will be able to exchange to seasonal caches with the gear exclusive to these previous seasons and manhunts. So I think it's pretty exciting. We'll be releasing more information soon because I'm not entirely sure I'm coherent enough to explain everything that I want to explain right now. But I think that event is going to be an amazing opportunity to also relieve the nostalgia and gear up before Seasons 2.0, because a lot of the features that we showed today are only available starting from level 40. So if you're new to the game, if you started recently, that's perfect opportunity for you to gear up and get ready for next season.
Did you balance the exotics per nerfs? Yes, the exotics are part of the general balancing pass as well. So most of them receive changes. And as usual, you know, the way we've tried to approach this balancing pass is we've looked at the overall performance and power value of each item. We looked at the best ones, the worst ones, and we tried to find an in-between that is generous, an in-between that is not in the middle, that is more towards the up part, and buff everything that was underneath that to that level. If things are above that, some of them we try to bring down, not necessarily all the way to that level, just a bit down to bring them closer to that level. So the buffs are going to be more significant than the nerfs, but there are a few outliers in here that we've tried to tone down ever so slightly to try to bring them closer to the rest in order to, you know, try to make other options a bit more viable. And again, don't forget, even if we are with those nerfs, in a way, taking away some power, we're giving you a lot of power with the modifiers as well. So that's something to take into account. So now I should have actually unlocked a passive modifier, so we can at least look at it.
Yeah, we're not showing the new exotics and weapons for this season in this specific live stream just because there is not enough time and we wanted to focus on new seasonal journey features, but this information will be available through the patch notes and tomorrow on PTS. Sorry, I interrupted you.
No worries. So now you see I unlock drawback, for example, which is my first passive modifier. And so this one, as you can read, my weapon handling is increased by 50% of headshot damage while there are enemies within short range. And the idea here is that sometimes instead of just giving you a buff, we want to give you buffs that are based on other stats you have. Which is a way to also try to create combinations or revalor some stats that sometimes maybe people would be might be using less. So yeah, but this one is also a straight out buff, so you can go ahead and just apply it. There you go. And so now that one is going to be active all the time. So as long as I have an NPC in short range, in the red or in the blue zone, I will have that buff active.
Another question about modifiers, how they going to affect the group play?
The player modifiers are player-based, so you will each have your own, and each have your own active ultimate ability and whatever based to your build. Then the enemy modifiers or the hostile modifiers, apply to the fire teams you're fighting. So yeah, I don't know.
Why I'm not addressing any PvP-related questions? The chat is going so fast, but I can see one if there is going to be any DZ or PvP updates. And
this is not a PvP update, right? All the balancing changes to all items will affect PvP. So expect balancing changes in PvP as well. But our focus for this update is seasons. So we haven't necessarily looked at PvP itself.
Oh, that's the question that I love about the ducks. People want the clues for the Keener ducks and what they meant in the Keener mission. It's actually interesting. I don't want to spoil anything, but it's one of the few things that I learned myself quite recently by talking to Lauren. And I would just say, keep shooting those ducks, and there is going to be a nice revelation if you will get all of them.
So it would be interesting to put the possibility to have triple XP forever by paying a monthly fee for people like me. Well, we're not ready to put a price point on XP bonuses. But that being said, I mean, we had some really positive reaction and positive results to triple XP. And as you know, there is another event that's coming. That's actually going to be a 5 times XP. If you like those, we'll do more of those. But not forever, though. We still want to keep them a bit rare. That's the whole point of an event. But yes, we will do more of those moving forward.
Our favorite question about cross progression.
No plans at this point.
More stash space. As Yannick already mentioned that we are looking into it, but there is no guarantee that will happen. Tomorrow.
Yeah. We may have a bit of room to maneuver here, but is the best to add a character slot? Is the best to add stash space? Is it to add inventory space? We have to see what we're going to do with it and how we utilize that. But we're hoping that we're going to be able to give you a bit more room to store stuff.
How long the 5 XP boost gonna last? From what I remember, it's a weekend long, from 27th to 30th. So if I'm not mistaken.
Probably. The dates I don't know, but it's a weekend.
Basically 3 days till the weekend.
Yeah, it's a weekend, and it's remember it's capped to 1,000 levels. This one, and it's gonna be running alongside Golden Bullet. So it's gonna be a fun weekend.
Any DLC news? Today is not the time.
Today is not the day for this. We're working on it. Will there be any hardcore rewards, exclusive patches, apparel, skins? Not immediately, but I think, yes, we will want to have a bit of a look at hardcore with this new seasonal format. This hasn't been our focus here, but I think, there's probably some stuff we can do with hardcore characters in seasons as well. So that's a good reminder. Thank you.
I also remember seeing a question about skills being reworked, but from what I remember, they are not a part of the balancing pass.
No. We focused on items. Will cheaters actually be banned? Cheaters are banned all the time. I know it doesn't look like it, and I'm sure every time I say that there are people that are going to come with examples of people they've seen that haven't been banned, but I can tell you we have people that are banning cheaters on a very regular basis. And if you, as usual, if you spot any, just to let us know. And even if you don't see that person going away, that doesn't mean that we are not taking actions.
Yeah, but keep reporting these people anyway, and it's best if you report them through Ubisoft support services, because whenever you tag us on social media, like, it's nothing that me or Yannick can do about it, because we have a proper sanction metrics, and whenever support receives complaints about cheaters, they actually apply sanctions based on this metrics that is universal for the entire company. Yeah, we take notice, we know that that's a problem, but unfortunately we cannot just pick and choose a person, because then it would not be fair to anyone.
I've seen some people, sorry if we're looking away, we're looking at chat, so this is our way of talking to you, is actually looking at a screen here instead of looking there.
Can I move?
But I've seen some people asking about the specializations revamp. So yes, we had announced a long time ago now that we were going to revamp specializations. We didn't do that revamp because ultimately the first prototype we had of that change did not feel good enough. It just didn't click the way we thought it would. Sometimes that happens. We have great ideas on paper and we put them in the game and it's like, so we decided to put it on ice because we had to prioritize other things. I think we're still there. There are other priorities that we want to focus on first. It's still in the back of our mind, so one day, I'm very hopeful, one day we will be able to revisit specializations, but not in the short future. There was another question I wanted to take, but I lost it.
There was a question, a weird one, not a weird one, but it's something that we already answered a couple of times before about the one-strap backpack and why it's not possible for us to have it in the Division 2. I mean, we're no art product experts. Pali is not here, but from what I know, it's just the way the models work, the agent models work in Division 2 are very different from Division 1, and that's why it's not possible for us to have a one-strap.
Yeah. Yeah, it's. I mean, it's just a big deal. It's a much bigger deal than you could think it is. It would have to do with the way the characters are built, the way they are skinned, and it's just. It would be a huge change, not something we are able to take. So unfortunately, as much as we all miss them, as much as you do, we cannot really bring them back, not in a realistic way. Add more hairstyles, that'd be cool. Would be cool to have more. Keener has a one-strap backpack, yeah, but Keener is not a player. The character does, but actually when you have the Keener outfit, you still have your backpack on it. Don't nerf my Lady Death, please. I don't have the list of changes in mind, so I honestly don't remember what happened to every single item. So I cannot tell you right now from top of my mind what's the deal with Lady Death.
One more hour and you will be able to see that.
You'll find out in the patch notes once you've scrolled through the whole, what was it, 29 pages, what I've seen of it.
30.
30 now.
Yeah. The question about rates, if there are going to be any rates.
That's not the plan right now.
You know what we need to do? Whenever you watch Japanese streams, they have like text running on the background, and for the most popular questions, we should actually do that.
We used to do that. This is me putting old man Yannick hat for the people that have been in here for the last 10 years. We used to have that on State of the Game at some point because we used to have so many of those questions. So we had the ticker that was basically just answering the most common questions. Guess what? It changed nothing.
Okay, because I was like, should I maybe print a T-shirt with all the answers and like, here are all the answers?
More hunter cosmetics. But if everybody is a hunter, then hunters are not fun anymore. What about leagues? So actually, one thing that's good to know, thank you for the question, leagues are not going to be part of the new seasons. Global events will still apply. We will not have leagues anymore. And the main reason is that leagues just cannot really coexist with all of this. Because it's a mess, and as you've said, with the modifiers, they would be way too easy. And in any way, the way we've rebuilt behind the scenes, the way we've rebuilt all of that, leagues are not going to be. We cannot just take them and make them work. That being said, the idea of these kind of challenges and time challenges is something that's still cool. So we're already thinking about how we could bring back something similar to what leagues were. But don't be surprised when this comes out. There will not be leagues.
There was a question about descent changes, but from my knowledge, there won't be any changes with this upcoming.
For descent?
Yeah.
No, except just the changes to balancing of the talents and all that is going to potentially affect descent as well. But otherwise, no specific focus change on descent. We've lost chat. So
yeah, well, monitors went dark.
We've lost screens.
George.
It's just me. It's just the computer going to sleep. I didn't realize this screen is the same as that one.
But to be honest, we're kind of coming close to the end of the stream, unless you have more time, so you can sit here forever.
Any plans on transmog for exotics? Next question. Gosh, this chat is going too fast. I'm too old for this.
I mean, I saw someone saying that my lipstick is smudged. I'm like,
I see a bunch of questions on like rework this, rework that. I see rework of Summit, rework of Candy College, and all those things. Yeah, I mean, obviously there's a lot of things we can do with this game. That's what's great about it. We can keep going for as many years as we want. There's a lot that we could rework and that we could add, and hopefully we'll eventually get to all of those things. But we have to prioritize, and so right now these are not our priorities. It doesn't mean they won't become a priority at some point.
Where is Kelso?
Where is she
chilling.
indeed?
She is chilling,
She's driving a van somewhere.
having a good time with the boys.
You're sad about rebalance. You haven't seen what we've done. Like, look at it first.
Patch notes are not even out for another hour.
You haven't seen it. Look at it first. Read the whole thing. Don't focus on that one item that is, the joy of your life. Look at everything else, and then see if you think that overall it's gonna make the game more enjoyable or not. And then do give us feedback. And if you still don't like it, then we will take that feedback. Don't just assume and go for doomsday scenarios.
Yeah, and if you have any feedback coming our way, they're going to be phase 2, and if we see the changes that are applicable, we will react and talk back to you about our future plans. Absolutely.
Yeah. I see something. I don't know if I'm supposed to talk about that, but I'll take it anyway. Chinese version has items we don't have. Are they going to be added? I mean, for those of you that pay attention, yes, there is a version in China of the Division 2 that is different from our version. We do work together with those people, and so some of the stuff they do we can bring in our game, but that's a case-by-case basis, and we decide. Even if some of the stuff you see seems cool, there are some things we don't necessarily want to bring to our version of the Division. So it's up to us to see and what can actually be transferred from what they do, because obviously these are two very different cousins, those two games.
And as Pauline is saying, telling me behind the screen, so to comment on the recent PvP glitch, it will be fixed with 21.5. That is, I do not remember the exact date when it's coming, but it's coming quite soon, in 1 or 2 weeks' time. And the reason why I saw people complaining that it's not on Trello, that's why devs don't know about it. The only reason why it was not on Trello is not to give people ideas. And of course, we were aware, and all the time we were working on resolution. So fix is coming.
Kevin the Gromit, how do updates of the game work with 2 different versions running? Oh, my poor person. We're working on 5 different versions of this game at a time, because we're working on many updates at the same time. So this is not an issue. We are used to working on several versions, but again, the Chinese version is very separate from ours. So it's a bit of a different thing compared to when we work on several updates at once. This is still the same game, but this is a different one.
And also, I saw a question, people asking if we can do that on a more or less regular basis, this format, and it's actually yeah. That's actually what we were thinking about, and that's why we're trying this new format.
Yep.
Thank you to our helpers, Dory and George, for setting this nice studio up.
You're welcome.
I don't know if you were able to hear that, but,
Turn on your
but they're
microphone.
here laughing at us. So yeah, we'll definitely try to answer those questions on more or less regular basis. But from what I'm seeing right now, the questions just repeat themselves. And to conclude that, first of all, thank you so much for showing us the build. Good job. A lot of people were impressed by your immaculate gameplay.
Can I just take that one question before you go
please
into conclusion? Because I want to clarify my statement, because I don't want to create speculations. 5 version, what region besides USA? No. When I say 5 versions, I don't mean different versions of the game that are being run in different areas. I just mean that we work on parallel updates at the same time. So, the update that we're going to be delivering you or giving you with Season 2 is an update we've been working on in a while. We're already working on the one after that and the one after that. So that's what I mean when I say 5 versions. I mean, we are always working in parallel on many things that are coming in the future of this game. These are not different versions of the games that are secret projects we haven't said or anything like that.
Anything else? You fancy? Any other questions? No.
Oh, sassy. Okay.
So yeah, patch notes coming in an hour. Preload also starts today. I'm sorry, I unfortunately do not remember when exactly, but it's today. I promise you that. And tomorrow you will be able to play live as usual. Play throughout the weekend. We'll close in on Monday, and just let us know what you think about all the updates on Discord, on social media. That's pretty much it.
Yep.
Okay, thank you so much. Have a good day.
Thank you for being here, and let us know what you think on PTS and on this stream as well if you've seen anything. Just feedback.
See you.
Thank you.